Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel, and you guys know that I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan, right? I talk about Star Wars all the time, and I love it. It's kind of like one of my most favorite things ever. Notice the Boba Fett little bobblehead over there, right next to my skull plushie. That's how much I love it. Soon the wall back there will be littered with Star Wars posters as well. But the point is, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Can't wait for the new movie. Can't wait for Han Solo. Can't wait for a lot of things. Except this particular thing, I don't quite understand. I don't get it. I do not in any way, shape, or form support it. But here we are. So the Social Security Administration released its annual list of popular baby names. And surprisingly, Kylo Ren, or just Kylo, is now in the top 1,000 names. In fact, it's coming in at number 901. So yes, it's the 901st most popular baby name in the United States. Now, the only way for that to be acceptable is if it was the 501st most popular name, because that would just be meta, and that would be great, and that would be fantastic, and I'd laugh my fucking ass off at it. But 901, which is a pretty big leap from last year, which is where it was at 3,269 at the end of 2015, which means that somewhere over the course of 2015, people started naming their kids Kylo. Not many, but a few. And they maybe it ramped up for the final 2 weeks of 2015 when the movie was out and we got our first introduction to Adam Driver's character. Look, naming your child after characters in pop culture or things that you like is nothing uncommon. I have a guy that I know who named his son Sheridan after the captain from Babylon 5. Like, he will tell you point blank, it's named after the captain from Babylon 5. You've heard stories for years now about children being named Khaleesi, right, after Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones. Even the name Daenerys has had a bit of an uptick, but not as much as Khaleesi, which always cracked me up because that's more of a title versus a name. It sounds good, don't get me wrong, but if you've named your child Khaleesi, eventually you're probably going to pay the $40 to have it changed to something else. Maybe Daenerys, or I don't know, Denise or something. Names, people like to name their kids after these kind of things, right? So like my girlfriend and I were talking about like what we would name our kids if we ever had any. What we would name them, you know. And so we'll watch like Arrow or something, and she'll ask me, oh, what do you think of the name Oliver? And I'm like, Oliver Jarbo, I don't know, that's not really what I'm going for here. That's not really what I want. Like, Oliver Jarbo doesn't have a good ring to it, you know. Or we'll watch other things like Logan, for example, and she's like, oh, what do you think of the name Logan? I'm like, I like the name Logan Jarbo. It has a good ring to it, right? It has a good sound to it. That one I actually kind of like. And so, yes, if I have a son and we name him Logan, when he's older, he'll be like, why did you come up with my name, Daddy? And I'll be like, well, son, I'm going to show you a movie. It's a violent, gory movie, but god damn it, it's good. Plus, I also love the character Wolverine. So there's that. But one of the things you don't really hear about, though, is you don't hear about people naming their kid like Leia. You don't get a lot of Leias. You don't get a lot of Lukes where they're named after Luke Skywalker. I know that there are some, but it's not as popular maybe as it once was. And even though the parents that would be like, you know, naming their kids based on the popularity of that, you know, of the first movie would be around the time I was born, you know, like even though my dad's a huge Star Wars fan too, I don't think him and my mom ever sat there and like, well, should we name him Luke Jarbo? I mean, that'd be cool if they ever had that conversation. I'm sure he tried to slide it in, you know. Thank God it's not Anakin. But no, seriously, though, do you know anyone named Han? Do you know anyone named Lando? Do you know anyone named Chewie? Right? Like, you don't really know those kind of names. And part of that actually has to do with something from well, the woman who runs babynamewizard.com says that names of villains are actually more likely to inspire parents than on-screen heroes, which is such an interesting thing to behold. Why is it that on-screen villains are going to be more influential in terms of naming a baby than the heroes? Wouldn't you want to name your child after, I don't know, like the hero of a story, right? And it's not like someone's going to sit there and go, like, watch Harry Potter and go, I named my child Tom Marvolo Riddle because I just really love that character. right? You're going to hear about stories like, oh, I named my child Hermione or Ron or Harry or Ginny. Or, you know, like you would hear that at a Harry Potter, like, oh, I named my child Severus, or I named my child Snape, or something along those lines. You don't hear about that very often. So it's very weird that the founder of babynamewizard.com would make that claim. But I guess it also really depends on, for one, the coolness of the name, and two, probably like how popular the franchise is. Because the villains' names in Harry Potter were not cool sounding. They weren't. Like Voldemort is like, yeah, it's an ominous name, but it's not something that you can maybe put like a little ring on, you know. If you were at the park and you have a woman coming out and she's, you know, yelling out, Voldemort, Voldemort, come on, it's time to go. You know, you're going to go, oh shit, that bitch is crazy. But if a parent runs out and they're like, Luke, you know, you're going to be like, Amberoo, you got some blue milk? You know, like, that's more fun. But at the same time, is anyone going to do that with Kylo? Like, could you imagine, like, you're at school with your little kid and then you have a parent out there going like, Kylo, come on, Kylo. I would seriously tell my son or my daughter, do not play with that kid. Do not play. I would tell them that because of the name Kylo. Because Kylo Ren is a bitch. Kylo Ren is a bitch. Seriously, it's like, when you get to the end of The Force Awakens and he kills Han, I was mad. I was like, nah, fuck that shit. Like, my girlfriend's like, oh, do you want like any kind of Kylo Ren merchandise? Do you want any kind of Kylo Ren wall art, anything with him on it? And I'm all like, no, I don't want none of that. I would take Vader in a heartbeat because I like Vader's character, but Kylo Ren is like, fuck that shit. I don't want none of that. I have one piece of Kylo Ren art, and it's just a cover for a wooden wall art piece for The Force Awakens. That's all I have, and that's all I care about. The little Boba Fett guy back there, I have a Darth Vader that goes along with him. Those two are badass. They can stay, right? I'd rather have a kid named Boba, right, or even fucking Jango than Kylo. Shit, if a kid was named Jar Jar, I'd be like, all right, maybe he's a little bit weird. You know, Gungans and all that jazz, but still, like, fuck Kylo Ren. I'm so against that. I'm against it. Me personally, I'm against it. But what do you guys think about this? Would you name your child Kylo? Would you name your child after something in pop culture? If so, what would you name that child? I'm curious. Like, would it be Charles Xavier? Would it be, you know, Eric Lencher? Would it be, Tony Stark, Peter Parker? Like, what kind of name would you name your kid, and how far out there would you be willing to go? I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts on this, so let me know in the comments below. If you guys haven't already, thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, check out any of the videos over here if you guys want to see more stuff from me. If you guys want to support the channel, which would be really helpful right now, links below in the video description. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day, and seriously, please, for the love of God, don't name your kid Kylo.